This is gonna be. I'm just gonna listen to the. What do they call this? Latina Disco, which is basically like a teacher or a student manual. I don't know if I read the one for chapter one, but I'm gonna do that just to kind of refresh on that. And then I'll read chapter two just to kind of learn a little bit more what was actually talked about in the chapter two reading. I'm gonna have my screen reader Cecilia read it so I don't have to read it.
Talk back on. Drive. Chapter 1. Lingua Latina per esse illustrata. Parzai, Familia Romana. Instructions. In the first chapter we take you almost 2,000 years back into the past to the time when the Roman Empire was at the height of its power, extending from the Atlantic Ocean to the Caspian Sea and from Scotland to the Sahara. We give you a few geographical facts as background for the sketches from life in ancient Rome which follow. On the map of the Roman Empire facing the first page you will find all the geographical names occurring in the chapter. After locating the names Roma, Italia, Europa, Grecia, etc., you will understand what is said about the situation of the city of Roma in the first sentence, Roma in ita 3 est, and about Italia and Grecia in the next two, Italia in Europa est, Grecia in Europe est. This is said once more in a single sentence, Italia et Grecia in Europa sunt. The meaning of it should be quite clear, but can you tell why it is now sunt instead of est? If not, look in the margin and read the next two sentences as well. Have you discovered when it is est and when sunt? If so, you have learned the first rule of grammar. You will gradually learn the whole of Latin grammar in this way, that is, by working out grammatical rules from your own observation of the text. Did you also notice the slight difference between Italia and ita/3 and what little word produces the long 2? This is pointed out in the first marginal note. Another thing worth noticing, est and sunt come at the end of the sentence, but you will see that it is not always so. Roma est in ita 3 is also correct. The word order is less rigid in Latin than in English. Is it really possible, you may ask, to understand everything by just reading the text? It certainly is, provided that you concentrate your attention on the meaning and content of what you are reading. It is sufficient to know where Egyptus is to understand the statements Egyptus in Europe non est, Egyptus in Africa est 1-5. There can be no doubt about the meaning of non, a so-called negation. But often a sentence is understood only when seen together with other sentences. In the sentence Hispania quoque in Europa est 2-3, you will not understand quoque until you read in context Italia et Grecia in Europa sunt. Hispidotnia quoque in Europa est. The two preceding sentences might have been /Talia in Europe est, Grecia quoque in Europa est. If you are still in doubt, just go on reading till the word recurs. Syria non est in Europa, said in Asii. Arabia quoque in Asia est 7. Now you will certainly understand quoque, and in the meantime you have learned the word said almost without noticing it. In the next paragraph a number of questions are asked, and each question is followed by an answer. It is often necessary to read the answer before you can be quite sure of the meaning of the question. The first question is, est Gallia in Europa? The ni attached to est marks the sentence as a question. Our question mark was unknown to the ancient Romans. The answer is Gallia in Europa est. The next question est in Roma in Gal/3 is answered in the negative, Roma in Galliae non est. Latin has no single word for yes or no. The sentence or part of it must be repeated with or without non. 9. The Roman Empire. At 5 period. Italia. JJ.IEID section. Flexible word order. The negation non. 5 period. Quoque 7 period. Said 5 period. Ni 3 period. Question.
I think that's the end of that page.
Page 13 of 50. Ubi 9.
I'm gonna go down to the actual
Page
bottom
13
of
of
the
50.
page. Oh, they're probably been the sites.
Ubi
So.
9 period. Fluvius 10 period. Insula 11 period. Oppigium 10 period. Singular. Fluvi J1. Insulg. Oppigium. Plural. F/UV. Insuli. Oppid Q. Magnus 6 period. Parvis 10 period. Sing. F/UVJ1 Magnel section. Insulg Maganji. Oppigium Magnum. Plur Fluvilmagen. Insulm. Magnem _ Oppigi Maganji _. Nouns, substantives. F/Uvius Insula Oppigium, etc. Adjectives. Magnus a ern parvis a Multef a etc. Question, num 3 period. Answer, 3 period non. 3 period quid 8 period. Imperium Romtinal. M imperique. Rom inc. CC equals M equals mil, 1000. In the question, ubi est Roma. The word ubi is intelligible only when you get the answer, Roma est in Ida/3. After the short survey of the location of the principal Roman provinces, you are told about various localities, Rhenus and Enflus, Corsica and Sardinia, Tusculum and Brundisium. You will find these names on the map, and the text will tell you what they represent. If you are still in doubt about the meaning of the words fluvius, insula and oppidum, come back to the picture. Heading the chapter. Note that these words occur in 2 different forms. Enflus alone is called fluvi 2 exclamation mark section, but Enflus and Rhenus together are called fluvi in similar stances. You will notice the use of the forms insulg underscore and insul British pound and oppidum and oppigi underscore in the section Grammatica Latina. You learn that the forms fluvi 2 exclamation mark section, elensulg and oppidum are called singularis, while fluvii f ensul 3 exclamation mark and oppigi are called pluralius in English singular and plural. As you read on, you will see that Enflus is referred to not only as Fluvius, but as Fluvius RNA News, unlike Tiberius, which is described as Fluvius Parvis. IN. The same way Sicilia is referred to as Insula Magna as opposed to Melita, the Moda Malta, which is called Insula Parva. In the margin, Magnus and Parvis are represented as opposites. Sign the opposite of. This will help you to understand the meaning of the words, but note the changing endings. Further examples are seen when Brundisium is called oppidum, Magan British pound and Tusculum oppidum parv British pound. 2 period, and when the same words occur in the plural fluvil magni, insuli magnbi British pound, apida magngi. A word which shows this variation between the endings us, ern in the singular and fae, in the plural is called an adjective, Latin adjectivum. Added word, because it is added to a noun, substantive, which it qualifies. Other nouns acun, ing in this chapter are provincia, imperium, numerus, lit. Terra, vocibulum. Adjectives are, besides Magnus a ern and Parvis a ern, e.g. Graecus Romanus a ern, Latinus Primus and in the plural multi aea and pocef aea. The endings of the adjectives depend on the nouns that they qualify. The question num creta oppidum est 149 must of course be answered in the negative. Creta oppidum 1 eoj 1 est. Num is an interrogative, i.e. asking particle, like ni, but a question beginning with num implies a negative answer. The next question is quid est creta. Here, again, only the answer. Creta f insula est makes the meaning of the question quite plain. We have seen a final a modified to 2 after in Ida/3, in Europe, in Africae. We now see that an also makes ern change to -6, in imperii Roma in I, in voci. U/Q, in capital Q.prfmi, 1158, 72, 73. These forms in 2 and -6 are dealt with in cap. 5. As a numerical sign for 1000, Mi1/E, the Romans took the Greek letter IPH, which was rendered sick and later changed into M under the influence of \il. Latin is a concise language. It can often express in a few words what man several words in other languages. One of the reasons is that Latin has fewer particles, small uninflected words, than most modern languages. Thus, you will find nothing corresponding to the English articles a and the as in a river, the river, etc. 10.
Okay. So chapter
Page
1
14 of 50.
So chapter 1 basically talked about plurals and singulars in the nominative case.
Page 14 of 53. Zoom 500.
Chapter 2 pretty much talks about singulars and plurals in the genitive case. So, yeah. Okay.
Selection start. Select.
Move this down a little bit. Just to let it know where to move the page down when it's done reading. I can't follow along with the text because it just doesn't let me do that.
Selection start. Selection start. Selection start. Selection. 1B. Grammatica Latina.pdf 2.0 megabyte, loading document. 1C. Conspectus Grammaticus.pdf 1.0 megabyte, loading document. File type PDF, file type PDF. 1B. Grammatica 1B.
I don't think it's gonna read. Sometimes this happens. I try to do a reading.
14/53, 1b. Grammaticalatina.pdf,
Doesn't work.
1b.
Like it reads a file
1b.
name, but it
1b.
doesn't read.
1b. 1b.
Let me go
Page
up
13.
here.
Ubi 9 period. Page 14 of 14/53, 1b. Grammaticalatina.p. 1b. 1b. 1b.
Yeah, it doesn't
1b.
want to read this.
14/53, 1b. Grammaticalatina.p. 1b. Grammaticalatina. 1b.
This is why I despise
Page
screen
13.
readers.
Ubi 9 period. Fluvius 10 period. Insula 11 period.
So it works on that page, but I can't
Page
go
14.
down.
14/53, 1b. Grammaticalatina. 1b.
Let me see if I go down
Page-
to the next page.
Page 15 of 53. Zoom 572%. 1b. 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 Page 14 of 53. Zoom 629%. 1b. Chapter 2. We now introduce you to the people whose daily lives you are going to read about. The picture shows them dressed in their best clothes, except for the 4 who are relegated to the margin. Clearly, they are not on the same level as the rest of the family. Be sure to remember the names, for you will soon become so well acquainted with these persons that you will almost feel like a friend visiting a real Roman family 2,000 years ago. And the remarkable thing about it is that you can understand their language. Note that the names of these people end in either us or a, none of them end in ern. You will see that the ending us is characteristic of male persons. Lily L section 2 period Marcel section, Quanti L section 2 period Dive L section, Medi section, and of female persons Emalag. Lilag, Serg, Delig. This also applies to nouns that denote persons. Nouns referring to males generally end in us. Phi/IL section 2 period Domin L section 2 period serve 2 exclamation mark section but us is dropped in some nouns in R, e.g. vir, cure, while nouns denoting females. And mostly in a, foming, puelgi, philic, doming, and silgi, but no persons are denoted by words ending in ern. We say therefore that nouns ending in ern, e.g. opid 4 exclamation mark j, vociabi 4 exclamation mark b imperi 2 exclamation mark jl are neuter, Latin neutrum, neither, i.e. neither masculine nor feminine, while most words in us are masculine, Latin masculinum, and most words in are feminine, Latin femininum. From femina. But as grammatical terms masculine and feminine are not restricted to living beings, the words fluvius, numerus, titulus, liber are grammatically masculine, while insula, litera, provincia, familia are feminine. The grammatical term, therefore, is not sex, but gender, Latin genus. The abbreviations used for the 3 genders are M, F, and N. The word familia refers to the whole household, including all the slaves, servelle and ancilli, who belong to the head of the family as his property. Filius is the father, pater, of Marcus, Quintus and Lilia, and the master, Du. Minus, of Medu, Divis, Sira, Delia, etc. To express these relationships we need the genitive, Latin genitivus, a form of the noun ending in I or aen. The singular, fa/ss pater Myrcat quint at jilig, in the plural you find the long endings erum and irum, 3/ss dominus multorum servorum et multirum ancillarum. So the genitive endings are ae and irum in the femi. 9, and f and arum in the masculine and in the neuter, CLL 56, 87. In the section Grammatica Latina you find examples of all these forms. Eng. Lish has the ending s or of, Julia's mother or the mother of Julia. Particles like ed and sed are called conjunctions, Latin conjunctions, from conjuncture, join, because they join words and sentences. Instead of at you often find the conjunction k attached after the second word, Delia Madu. JLI stands for Delia H Madu and Phila Philia JLI for Philia FLL.FI/EA, 11, 9 and 22. Among the new words in cap 2 are the interrogative words quis and que, which are used to ask questions about persons, English who, QLM est, Myrcus, and qua est Julia, i.e. masculine quis, plural quoth, feminine que, and neuter quid, as you have seen in cap I, English what. The genitive of the interrogative for all genders is quius, English whose, quius servis. Est divis. Divis servis lili est, 135. The invariable interrogative particle quod asks questions about number, kite j. LF burl sunt in familiae. In familia fili sunt tre ll berry. Quod fili et igeek dot filif f. Duo fili et ena filia. QH dot R2 servi. 2 period. 3 period centum serval, 1137-39. Like most. Numeral centum is invariable, but Inus has the familiar endings us a ern. The feminine of duo is dug, due filii, and the neuter of tre is trifel. Tria. Apida. 11. The Roman family. Males us females a. Genders. Masculine m us feminine f a neuter n ern. Genitive. Min. F. Sing ae. Plur minus 6 rum irum. Conjunctions. 3 period k equals at 3 period. Mfn quis. Que. Quid. Gen quius. Quat. 1 2 3 3 period. Mfn. Finus una inum. Duo due duo. Tre tre tria.
Is there any more on this one? I don't
Page
think so. Oh, there is more. Okay, let's finish this.
15/53 1b. Grammatica Latina.p. Magnus numerus equals multi-I/multa a Magnus numerus center of AEA. 1b. Grammatica Magnus
I gotta
Page.
figure out.
1b.
I guess if you move your finger, it does something.
15/53 1b. Magnus numerus drum equals multi-I/multa a Magnus numerus arum equals multi-AE. Center of AEA. Enumeration. Ella Betsy. 2a b c. 3a b c k. Musa 2za Eke 2 dash plus. Sing. Plur. Liber libri. At cantat pulsat ploratit areftit vidit respondit. It venit audit dormit. Marci section iulium pulsat. Quinel section dot mark 2 exclamation mark j2 exclamation mark vidit. Iulig emily d2 exclamation mark vocal. The number can also be indicated by the noun numerus combined with the genitive plural numerus liberorum est tre. Numerus servorum est centum. 1143-44. As centum must be said to be magnus numerus, the following sen. Tenses are easily understood. Numerus servorum est magnus and in familia. Magnus numerus servorum est. It appears that magnus numerus servorum is equivalent to multi-serv f. In the same way parvis numerus liberorum has the same meaning as posse liberf. Besides, you will find the expressions magnus numerus opidorum antluvirum meaning multa apida and multitluvif. The Romans only knew the northern part of the continent of Africa, where there is only one big river, the Nile, in Africa unus Jaluvius magnus est, and flus. 158. It goes on, seterf Jaluvif Africi parvef sunt. The adjective seteri ae. The other s recurs several times, thus the enumeration of the first three. Of the 35 capitula 86 is concluded with cetera, it might have been et cetera, the Latin expression which gives us the abbreviation etc. The following emla applies to enumerations in Latin, et put between all items, Marcus British pound. Quintus British pound Julia, or 2, no conjunction used at all, Marcus. Quintus, Julia, or 3k added to the last item, Marcus, Quintus Julia LJ and British pound. The conversation at the end of the chapter shows that instead of the genitive, the adjectives museum and tuseum are used to refer to what belongs to the person speaking or the person spoken to respectively, like English. My and your. On page 16 you come across the word eke, illustrated with an arrow in the margin. It is used when you point to or call attention to something, in this case to the picture of the two books. Notice the form of an ancient book, a scroll with the text written in columns, and the Latin word for such a scroll. Liber, another masculine noun in without us, plural / ibarf. Chapter 3. Now,
Okay,
1b.
stop.
Grammatica 1b.
Okay, I gotta get this thing to shut up. Okay, so that pretty much covers what I read through, like, yesterday, and then all the other stuff that I don't know. But yeah, I think I've got class with teacher soon, so I'll chit-chat with you guys later. Bye.
Stop button, window
Oh wait,
Samsung
that's
capture.
not what I want to do.
Double
I
tap.
want to get this thing to shut up
Accessibility.
first.
Accessibility. Accessibility.
It won't stop.
Accessibility button. Accessibility button. Double tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press. Accessibility. Accessibility
I am
button.
double tapping.
Edit shortcuts.
Oh my gosh.
Talkback on. Talkback off.
I really despise some of this technology for blind people. It's stupid.